All right, 9.3, we're going to talk about measuring weight and temperature. And if you are a senior, let me remind you, this is your last lesson for the year. Hold on tight, it is almost over. Okay, here are our learning objectives for this section. We are going to talk about the metric prefixes when we're talking about weight. It's very similar to what we've done with 9.1 and 9.2. You'll notice that. We're going to do some more conversions and talk about the relationship between volume and weight within the metric system. And we're going to talk about some about the temperatures. So let's, as you're looking at that over, let me just give you some food for thought. If you're watching CNN on TV, and the temperature in Honolulu, Hawaii, is reported to be 30 degrees Celsius. Are tourists there going to be in jackets, winter jackets? What do you think? For 30 degrees Celsius. Well, that's one of the things we're going to talk about, because we're going to look at the difference between Celsius temperatures and Fahrenheit, because that's generally what we talk about is Fahrenheit. You go to Canada, you cross over the border, guess what? You're going to talk about Celsius. So let me give you this food for thought. So say you're at the doctor's office and you step on the scale. Oh, tongue twister. Let's say you're 150 pounds. I'm just getting a general weight here. If I compared 150 pounds here on the scale versus 150 pounds, if you take that same 150 pounds and put it on the moon, you're only 25 pounds. Why is there a difference there? Well, that difference is the gravitational pull on the object. We call that weight. So weight is the measure of the gravitational pull on an object, where mass is the measure of the quantity of matter in the object determined by its molecular structure. So for what we're talking about, we're going to kind of treat mass and weight equivalent and just say the weight. All right, so go ahead and pause this. You want to make sure you have this written down. If you don't already know that 16 ounces is 1 pound, hopefully everybody does know that. And 2,000 pounds is equal to 1 ton. Another one of those things you want to have listed. This one right here is the same as we've talked about before. And remember, we had that little saying when we were talking about meters. Instead of grams, we were talking about meters. But remember, it was, Kitty, how does my dog catch mice, right? Because the G right here for gram was an M for my dog catch mice. So if you can remember that, that's still the same setup. Everything else is the same. It's just whether it's grams, meters, or liters. All right, so make sure you have, go ahead and press pause. Whew, struggling here, guys. All right, so let's look at this one. We're going to convert 950 milligrams into grams. Well, notice we put this up here just like we did the other one. So if I'm here at milligrams, see where milligrams is? Well, we're way down here. So to get from here to grams, I'm going 1, 2, 3, aren't I? So if I move it to the left, guess what? I'm moving my decimal to the left. So I'm going to take that and move my decimal 3 places to the left. So here we go. I have it written down right here. So we have 950 milligrams, right? So here's my mg. If I move, however many times I move to the left to get to where I'm going, then I'm going to move my decimal that same number of spaces. If I had to start right here and I go to the right, then I would add zeros to move my decimal place to the right. So my decimal is understood to be right here. So if I'm going 1, 2, 3 times, then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 times. So 950 milligrams is going to be 0.95 grams. And you could leave a 0 on the end of it if you wanted to, but it's not needed. Okay, so let's go back over to our notes on the PowerPoint here. Again, go ahead and press pause here and write down this table so you have your conversions when you're working on this. You're going to need these. All right. All right, hopefully you've written all that down. So let's look at example number 2 now. So example number 2, it says an aquarium holds 0.25 cubic meters of water. How much water does that weigh? Or excuse me, how much does the water weigh? Okay, so jump back over here. So we have 0.25 cubic meters, and we're going to change that into kilograms for the weight. So let's look at this. We have 0.25 meters cubed, remember, over 1. Now, if you look your conversion, you know that we have 1 cubic meter is equal to 1,000 kilograms. So my meters cubed crosses out over here. So if I multiply 0.25 times 1,000, we're going to get 250 kilograms. Hopefully that makes sense to you. All right, so let's jump back over one more time. And again, pause so you can write these last few down. Well, I don't know if they're the last ones, but write those down on your notes as you're going through these. All right, when you come back, we will do example number 3. So hopefully you've written all that down. Example number 3, we're going to convert 160 pounds into kilograms. Okay, popping back over to my notes here. So we're going to convert 160 pounds. So we have 160 pounds over 1. And we're going to multiply this by the conversion. And the conversion again, remember we had 1 pound is basically 0.45 kilograms. So over here we have 1 pound is 0.45 kilograms. Your pounds are going to cancel out. So you're going to multiply 160 times 0.45. 160 times 0.45. And our number is 72. So this is equal to 72 kilograms. Sure hope this is making sense. The more we've done some of these conversions, hopefully they're getting easier as this chapter has gone on. All right, let's talk about temperature now. We've talked about temperature as far as Celsius and Fahrenheit before, so let's look at Fahrenheit. So I'm pretty sure everybody probably knows that water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, right? That's the temperature we look at all the time. Our boiling point is 212 degrees. Celsius, water freezes at 0 degrees. So that's where, 0 degrees Celsius, you can see, is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. There's the difference right there. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, which is 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So I know everybody has seen these two conversions from Fahrenheit to Celsius and Celsius to Fahrenheit. Go ahead and pause this really quick so we can finish up the last 2 examples and then you're done. How about that? Okay. So example number 4, converting from Celsius to Fahrenheit, says the bills from your European vacation have you feeling a bit feverish, so you decide to take your temperature. The thermometer reads 37 degrees Celsius. Should you panic? Okay, do the work for just a second and then come back and check to see if you've got the same thing I do. All right, hopefully you've done this. So let's go ahead and see. So we're converting Celsius to Fahrenheit. So we're going to use the Fahrenheit is equal to And you can grab the decimal or the fraction one. I'm using the decimal one. 1.8, and this is our Celsius degree, which is, we're talking about 37 degrees Celsius. And then we have to add our 32 degrees on top of that to see what it is. Well, let's look at our 1.8 times 37 plus 32, and what do you get? 98.6. Should you panic? No, sir. 98.6 degrees is our, of course, perfectly normal temperature. You could have also, instead of using the 1.8, actually the one I normally use is the other one, which is the 9/5. And then we'll use the 5/9 when we have to convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So let's take a look at the last couple slides that I have for you. So, example number 5, converting from Fahrenheit to Celsius. The temperature on a warm spring day is 77 degrees Fahrenheit. What is the equivalent in Celsius? Okay, pause one more time. I want you to try to work it out. Use that conversion equation, and then come back and push play. Okay, so for this last one, let's go ahead and write our formula down. So we're converting Fahrenheit into Celsius. So that formula is C is equal to 5/9. And then multiply that by your, whatever that Fahrenheit degree is, minus the 32 degrees. So here we're going to go ahead and plug in a 77. So we have 5/9. And we have 77 minus 32. So we're just going to take it and put everything in there. Excuse me. So 77 minus 32 is 45 times 5 divided by 9, and we get 25. So that's going to be 25 degrees. Actually, I should write that. Celsius. So 77 degrees Fahrenheit is 25 degrees Celsius. Now, one last little thing, we're going to talk about Kelvin temperatures. So Kelvin temperature scale, Kelvin is what we call absolute zero. It is the absolute zero is the coldest possible temperature at which there's no heat and the molecules actually stop working. Sounds like we're in science class, doesn't it? Okay, so if I take 0 degrees on the Kelvin scale is a negative 273.15 degrees Celsius. That's what we call absolute zero. It's way too cold for me. Okay, on the opposite spectrum, our boiling point is 373.15 degrees Kelvin. So you can see, again, here we have from Kelvin to Celsius and Celsius to Kelvin. It's the difference of that 273.15 degrees. And let me give you one little scale here. You can see the comparison of Kelvin, Celsius, and Fahrenheit. Okay, guys, so you have, there is an optional worksheet that you can do today. It is for practice. It is not required. It's not something that you can have to submit. Tomorrow I will upload the video as far as the answers for that. If you want to try them all, try a few. That's completely up to you. And if not, then the only thing you have to do for a grade for this section is the section 9.3 homework online, and that's on Math Excel. All right, seniors, this is your last lesson. Then we'll start reviewing for the end of this chapter, and we are done. Juniors, you just have a few more to go, but you're almost there too. So, love you guys. If you need my help, just reach out to me.